Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Donna's Edge Talk Show. Thank you so much for watching every day, Monday through Friday from 1 to 3 p.m. Central, as I get to ride home with you in the afternoon. It's a lot of fun, and thank you so much for being with us. We definitely appreciate your support. We appreciate your emails, too. Thank you so much for doing that. We definitely appreciate it. You can find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and Abundant Television found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And don't forget the podcast now, thenewscasters.com. And I'm going to tell you what, it's a fun podcast. And by the way, coming out really, really soon. I know right now you're having to go on the internet and find thenewscasters.com. We're actually going to have apps on your Apple and your Android phone, and you're going to be able to actually just click the app and you'll be able to listen to the newscasters that way as well. Lots of fantastic talk show hosts are on there. So I'm just tickled to be part of it. And I'm part of it because of Chuck and Mary Lynn Bailey, who are with Alabama Fair Tax. They introduced me to these awesome folks, and I definitely appreciate that too, guys. Thank you.
Hello, Donna, on this gloomy day in North Alabama.
Oh, it's just liquid sunshine. We can handle it.
Yes.
Well, kind of not. But anyway, I'm telling myself that. I keep saying we can.
Yeah.
We need the water.
Well, it's better than the alternative, so I'm not going to complain.
It's better than drought.
Exactly.
Drought's not good. Drought's not good.
Yeah.
We're in a really strange world right now. I don't know if it can get much stranger, but it just keeps, every time I talk to you guys, I'm thinking, okay, we got the strange stuff done. Nothing else crazy is going to happen. And I'll be the next day, something happens. And I go, okay, I'll talk to Chuck and Mary about this too. Let's talk a little bit about, and I want to talk about fair tax because everybody, and I'm getting messages and stuff from folks, and they're concerned about Social Security and things like that, and so, just the different, we've got a lot of new listeners, a lot of new watchers. And so I'd like to dig just a little bit more as to, what fair tax is all about. And, but I got to ask this question, and this is about, looks like it might be a head up between Trump and Biden again. And it's extremely important that people vote. I mean, you just have to. I mean, there's no other chance. This is the only way we're going to make this work.
That's right. This is not the year to sit on your couch and let George do it, because George will take you he'll take you to the wrong direction is what George will do.
Yeah.
Whoever George is.
Yeah. You need to.
I think we all know a bunch of them.
Yeah.
We need to vote for honest people. I don't know how many people have seen the Carrie Lake thing where she was threatened, or not threatened. She was told she should pause and was offered, it was a bribe basically. And offered like her, name your number.
Name your price.
Yes. And that was from the GOP. That was not from the Democrats. So
back east.
Yeah, there's big money. The Rhinos and the Lincoln Project and all of those people, they have a lot of money. And, I personally, this is a personal thing, but I will not give any money to any national GOP
I won't either.
thing, because
only to the candidates of my choice.
Exactly. I'm conservative, and I'm actually an independent more than a Republican. But it's scary what's going on. I mean, we actually have a mafia, and it's not. I mean, across the board, Democrat and Republican. So if we don't get out and vote those people out, if we vote in enough numbers, they can't cheat enough to win. And so I think, it's incumbent on us to vote.
If we vote in larger and larger numbers, it's harder and harder for them to cheat, because they got to keep adding numbers to theirs to offset it. And there are only so many votes available, and you can only offset that vote so much until you get caught. So
yeah, I'm convinced that what they did in Atlanta was, they as soon as Trump got ahead by such a large amount, they stopped the counting so they could say, well, how many more votes do we need?
That's exactly what they did.
And I mean,
isn't that obvious?
I think it was. I mean, it's something they'll tell you. You're just a conspiracy theorist.
I don't care anymore. I'm
And now-
fine to be called one.
Well, the
Yeah.
theories keep getting proven, and so
I know it.
yeah. Anyway,
It's like Dan Bongino says. He says, "Give me some more conspiracies. All of these have come true that I've been talking about."
I know. It seems
Yeah.
like to me that's it. I mean, that's where it's at. I mean, that's what's happening. So, and I've got to ask you about Biden, and I fear for Trump's life because I know they've tried everything on earth and nothing has happened, nothing is stuck, and
Right.
people are still going. I mean, like even now, he goes anywhere, an easy 30,000 people are going to show up.
Yeah. He fills
Yeah.
the stadium for sure.
yeah, he's in my prayers every night. Yeah, I'll tell you though. Now I'm kind of wondering. It just occurred to me that Biden may be at risk too because if they can't get rid of him with this latest thing, the Republicans have got all kinds of ammunition to use against him in the campaign. So
More and more of his of Democrats are turning on him too, like Paul Begala and David Axelrod. They're both on CNN saying, "Oh, this guy is kind of
Even they're saying stuff now."
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So,
and the young people.
When those guys say something, you sit up and listen because
Yeah.
they've been around doing this stuff all these years, and it's like we heard that those two guys, all they have to hear is the right people say, "We need to do something to get Joe out of the race," and they just go off and do stuff without being told what to do because they know what to do already.
Yeah, and if they could have something happen to Biden and then accuse a Republican of doing it, but
They'll
then
do
what? They'll do it. I have no doubt in my mind, and I don't. I mean, there's no reason for a Republican or a conservative to do that because he's doing it to himself.
That's the whole point. He is just, and then he's still not drawing crowds. And then also Haley. I mean, what in the world? I mean, she can't draw a crowd either. She is so way behind Trump. It's not even funny.
Well, it's the same group that bribed Katie Lake.
Yeah,
Carrie Lake. I'm sorry. It's the same group that bribed her that was funding.
Backing.
Yeah, Healy. So it's. I'll tell you what. If you're for Nikki Haley, you're for more
Haley.
wars. Haley. I'm sorry. Okay.
Get it right.
Age.
Get it right.
I know who I'm talking about. You may not, but
We knew who you were talking about.
yeah. But anyway, I sound like a wacko, and I mean I really do. I guess if I were watching this, I'd say, well, this woman doesn't know anything that she's talking about. Yeah, but
I don't think so.
Just read the news.
yeah, just look at the news and put the pieces together.
Not that mainstream stuff. I'm talking about the real news. You got to go to the alternative media now to figure out what's really going on.
Yeah. I remember reading about the mainstream media back in the 80s and how it was all controlled. It was a uniform thing. And when I was speaking to our son about it, I said, it's all controlled by a group. And he said, "Mom, that's just," he said, "I don't believe in conspiracy theories." He said, "There's no way that you could get all of those people to do the same thing." Well, guess what? You can.
Yeah. When you go on your TV and you flip through the channels and they're all saying the same thing, even using the same phrases and words and phrases, that they're in it together. So
yeah. So I mean, even Fox News and well, I'll quit.
No, you're absolutely right. So I just got a question to ask you.
Okay.
So something happens to Biden. Who's going to fill his shoes?
Well, it'll be Kamala first.
yeah,
It'll have to be.
and then
But
it'll be Johnson.
Johnson.
Johnson's number 3.
Oh, Mike Johnson. Yes, that's true. But Kamala is just as unlikable as Joe Biden is. I mean,
I think he's more popular than she is. She's like at the bottom. I mean, I don't think you get much more gutter bottom than her.
yeah.
He is incapable. He is incompetent because of his mental capacity, and she's incompetent just because
Her mental capacity.
mental capacity too.
Yeah, I'm bad enough, but listening to her speak, it's like, how many words out of the dictionary can you use and put together in how many ways? I mean, it just is
And
amazing.
not say anything.
And not say anything. Yeah.
You know what? They used to make fun of Sarah Palin. They made fun of her all the time. And this woman is 50,000 more intelligent than this creep is, who's our VP right now.
Yeah.
You have heard
the way she talks. She just talks us all down.
Yeah. You have heard of projection, right? That's what they were doing with the Gov.
Yeah, they really liked her in Alaska, and actually, she's the only reason I voted for John McCain was because I liked her. So,
she took the spotlight from him. I think he got jealous.
He did, and he submarined her as a result of that.
Yeah, and his campaign at the same time.
Right, he submarined her and himself.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, I've met her. She's not a ditz. She's very intelligent.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, she's not.
Okay,
so on Trump's side, who's going to be Trump's VP?
Oh, I hope it's Vivek. I mean, it sounds like this weekend, he brought Vivek and his wife to Mar-a-Lago, and I like him. And the thing about the VP pick is so important because when Donald Trump is elected, he'll only have 4 years. And so whoever follows him, whoever his VP is so important. We don't need someone who can bring us Illinois or someone who can bring Texas or whatever. We need someone who can be president. Right. And I think that they could easily be president. So
somebody that I've been watching a lot has been Kennedy from Louisiana.
Oh, I love John Kennedy.
I was just listening. He was talking about Biden and all the things that are happening there. And I like him because he calls it out. Yeah. I mean, if something's stupid, he says it is. And there's got to be something about people like that are truthful. I like him.
I do too. And the thing about him, he can have his own comedy show because he comes up with stuff that is it's absolutely apropos, but it is so funny. Yes, I love watching him in conference and the committees when he's speaking to the candidate.
I think he's having too much fun with what he's doing. He wouldn't want to be president.
Yeah.
I just think he would be a good VP pick. I just like him.
Well, but again, we need someone who can follow on. Yeah. And as much as I like him, he's up in age. I mean, he's getting there, and age is going to be a factor from now on, I believe. Now, you can't. You can use. There are people who are using age against Donald Trump, which is really hard to do because he's so energetic and so.
He will fly in a plane, go from one 60,000 people event to another 100,000 people event. It doesn't wear him out. I mean, he is
not only that, he'll go into the courtroom and do the court thing, and then go to the next one.
And you've got to.
Most people wouldn't be able to do that.
No.
You've got to imagine that's got to. I mean, on a normal person, just that constant bombardment would wear you out. And then he goes and does those rallies after that. So he's amazing. Absolutely amazing to me. And I'll tell you,
I think what keeps him going though is he realizes that if he wasn't their number one enemy, the number one person they want to get rid of, they wouldn't keep going after him. That's got to give him drive and ambition.
Yeah,
exactly. Well, he said before, he said he's taking the blows for us. And that's exactly right, because the things that they're accusing him of, they can go after, they can make stuff up. I mean, they're going after Robert Kennedy now. Mm-hmm. I mean, and he is nominally a Democrat. He's formed his own party, but they wouldn't even give him Secret Service, and he's running for president. So
and he had what 16% of the vote as far as the Democrats are concerned before he changed.
And Donald Trump has lost over $1 billion just since he became president. With all the attacks that he's fended off. So he is amazing to me. And I'll tell you what, if nothing else, the main reason that I would vote for Trump is because we were not at war when he was president, and I like that. I don't like constantly being at war.
And he was closing the southern border.
But that's one of the reasons why the big military industrial complex hates him, because he's not using them and giving them power. Yeah.
But I think it's more than that, because I think we have this regime right now in the White House. They're nothing short of they're part of a bigger thing. I think it's not necessarily about money so much as it's about power.
It's power.
Mm-hmm. I really don't look at. I look at the White House, the administration, as like a cartoon. It's a, all that stuff that they're doing. They're hurting the country, but they're puppets of someone. And
that should be painfully obvious, because if you've got Biden as president of the United States, and this poor guy doesn't even know he's on Earth, he's been a liar his entire life. Everything he has ever touched has just been destroyed. So to actually think he can't be the one in power. He just can't.
You look at Kamala, and everything she's been assigned to do, she just doesn't do it. Mm-hmm. So
in name only.
In name only. Basically, she has an office and prestige of being vice president, but that's all. She doesn't do anything except.
Well, they're tearing down the honor of the presidency. That used to be something that you could aspire to. I mean, every girl would say, maybe I could be president of the United States someday. But who would want to be coming in after that bunch? I mean, it's going to take time to redo everything. So let's just say Kamala winds up being the prez pick. Okay. Yeah. Who would be her running mate?
Got no clue.
I had
to be somebody really strong.
Yeah. If you wanted a DEI candidate, you could have Corinne Jean-Pierre. The box of rocks. I saw a meme of a box of rocks on top of a podium, and it said, "Today a box of rocks held the press conference and nobody noticed."
Oh, it's so funny. I like, and I'm going to tell you what, I really love Sarah Huckabee, and I miss the days when she was out there, and the stupid media were all over her, trying to break her down. They couldn't do it, and I love the way she would handle things, almost Trump-like. She was like the girl version of Trump, and I remember. And we need her, and she needs to be where she's at in Arkansas.
Well, she would make a good vice president too. Yeah. We have a lot of choices of good people, but again,
she's doing a good job in Arkansas.
Yeah, she is. And actually,
she's doing a great job.
She was down in Texas with the governors that were on the border too. So, Kamala can't make it down to the border, but Sarah Huckabee Sanders can.
Yeah, Sarah can. I used to think it was funny though. So with that stupid questions, like trying to trip her up, it'd always be anti-Trump, whatever. It was always she would just look at people and just like with this look like you're stupid, and then just say next. I mean, she wouldn't even answer them half the time. She just look at them like you're a moron. I mean, you can tell what she's thinking.
Well, she had a good role model in her father, because Mike Huckabee is the same way, and Mike Huckabee is for the fair tax.
I always like Mike Huckabee, because Mike Huckabee could strip you down and you wouldn't know he was doing it. I mean, he would do it in such he has the art of it. He knows how to do it, and would even have you saying thank you for that, and he would be like he'd be like knocking people, they wouldn't even realize he was doing it. But I mean, that's the art, and she didn't fall far from that tree.
And Mike Huckabee is even on our advisory board for the fair tax.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to tell you what, he is a smart man, and I like everything I've seen. And when he goes to fair tax, it's almost like, what can you not see?
Right.
I mean,
it's almost like he wrote the book.
I know, because he has really studied it inside and out.
He did that in one day.
The thing about the fair tax, if you read the book, it really is simple. The problem is you're comparing it to a Gordian knot. You're comparing a straight rope to a Gordian knot, and
people are so tied up in that Gordian knot they can't see.
They can't see that a straight rope is so much simpler and so much better. Mm-hmm. So it is. But we've had over 100 years of that, and people looking for ways to avoid it or to use it to their favor, and you can't do that with the fair tax. The fair tax is just a straight, just like you pay sales tax at the store. You pay it and it's done. You don't have receipts. It's just easy, and you can see how much you pay too. That's the thing that you're not.
I mean, so what's not to like about it? The only people I could think of who would not like it would be, people who are just living off of us on our tax money. Those people probably wouldn't like it. Well, who cares whether they like it or not? I mean, we got to have some things in place that are for the American public. So you guys had some questions, and this has been coming up for quite a few weeks. People are afraid they're going to lose their Social Security. So I had a lady who sent a text message about this, and she said, I'm 55, and I'm thinking I've worked for about 30 years and worked hard, made a good income, paid a lot of taxes. And so when it comes my time, I don't think Social Security is going to be there. What can fair tax do?
Well, she needs to understand that the fair tax is the only proposal out there that'll actually save the Social Security. And the way it does it is, right now, the revenues are split up between the general fund and Social Security, Medicare, and all the other things that are social. And the money that's collected under the fair tax has that same split, so that Social Security and Medicare are fully funded, and they're funded better because you go from about 160 million people paying income taxes, that they paying payroll taxes, and out of their paycheck they're putting money into that so-called bank account. But under the fair tax, everybody that spends money in the United States of America will be putting money into that Social Security bank account, and that's a lot better than the way it's set up now.
Right.
And it's based on spending. It's not based on what you make as income.
Now, anyone who purchases new goods or services will pay the tax, and that's everybody. If you're here illegally, if you're a prostitute, if you're a pimp, if you're a drug dealer, whatever. They may not collect the tax, but when they buy their bling, or when they buy food or car or whatever, they will pay the tax.
Gold teeth, all that stuff.
That's right, all of that. So yeah, that's the fair tax. Taxes everyone who purchases new goods and services. However, those people who don't currently pay income tax or Social Security or Medicare, because they're not paying that right now, they will not get the prebate. So the prebate is only for legal residents of the United States, and you have to have a valid Social Security number to get it. And again, the prebate is something that is totally optional. So if you don't want to apply for it, you don't have to. It's up to you. But the prebate actually untaxes anyone who applies for it, any legal resident who applies for it, untaxes them up to the poverty level. They will receive the taxes that they would pay that month in some form of a check or a direct payment or whatever. They would receive that in advance of the month.
And it's not based on.
What I think is pretty amazing about that is that actually, if you are a citizen of the United States, you're being rewarded, because I'm not seeing us being rewarded right now.
Right.
At all.
The prebate is not based on your income. Income is not even talked about under the fair tax. It's based on how many people you have yourself plus your dependents in a household. It's household size only.
Right.
And if you got yourself and a wife and a couple of kids, you're going to get $600 plus each month, but that just covers the amount of tax on like $39,000 or whatever that is for.
I think it's 45 this year.
It's not that far. Let's see. Let me just let me check the books here.
It changes every year because Health and Human Services determines what the poverty level is, and so the numbers just came out recently.
For a family of four, a married couple or a couple with two kids, all being legal, of course, the annual consumption allowance is $40,880.
Wow!
So that means that you got to spend $40,881 before you pay your first bit of fair tax. And what that means is you get at the beginning of each month, you'll get a monthly prebate of $784 to cover only the taxes, because I defy anybody to live on $784 these days.
Well, I'm sure it could be
Some
done,
could
but
do
you'd
it.
really have to work to do it. So, yeah.
The ones that could do it would be the ones that live off the land and generate their own electricity and all that kind of stuff. Because if you don't buy new stuff, or you just buy all used stuff and live off the land, you don't have to give that money in taxes. It'll be your money.
Mm-hmm. Right. And then if they live in Alabama, and we have the Alabama Economic Freedom Act, which is our version of the fair tax.
So another couple $100 on that.
Right. So, yeah, it would certainly make it easier for people, especially with inflation the way it is. And also, we're spending over $2 trillion a year, more money than the government takes in. And that money is coming from Social Security and Medicare. I mean, they can doctor it any way they want to, but Social Security and Medicare are going to be going bankrupt. The first number I heard was 2035, and then it was down to 2032. And Medicare is going broke even sooner than Social Security. Mm-hmm. So, and with the de-dollarization, with the if the dollar is no longer what do they call it?
The money of choice.
Well, the world's currency, then it will happen even sooner, because they won't be able just to print money out of thin air with the way they do now.
Right.
So it's
very closely held.
Yeah, and we're getting to that point. It's amazing. As you get older, the time just goes by so fast. I mean, I'm still in 2020. Here we are in 2024, and it's just that time is coming. It's coming soon. And there are a lot of people who depend on Social Security just to survive. And those people, I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't. It's going to be very, very bad especially for the elderly.
I think so too. I know the lady who does our taxes, Rhonda's Elite Tax Service, she's one of our sponsors as well. Mm-hmm. So Rhonda's been handling my taxes since we moved back from Charlotte, North Carolina, back to Alabama again. That was in 2013. And she's huge cheerleader for this. And I almost didn't ask her about it. So she was handling our books and stuff one day, and I said, Rhonda, have you heard of fair tax? When I said that, she lit up. And I said, oh, you look like you like it. And she said, oh, yeah. She said, do you think I like telling people that they're going to have to pay more taxes than they think they're going to have to pay in? And she said, I see it's almost like a doctor telling somebody they have cancer. She said, I tell them that they're going to have to pay this much in taxes. She said, Donna, I've just beat them to death. Mm-hmm. And she said, it's the way it is. She said, and I said, well, what would you do? And she said, well, I would be able to help people grow their businesses. It'd be like a positive outlook on things instead of negative. I got to tell you, you've got to pay in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a common response from CPAs. In fact, I think I've told you before, we met the first person who really didn't like the fair tax. Well, other than the politicians, because they're to the
lobbyists.
And lobbyists. But we were coming out of a restaurant, and this guy said, oh, well, those are the fair tax people. And I said, oh, yeah. I said, great. It's a great idea. And he said, oh, I hate it. I said, you do? I can't. I said, you're the first person I've ever spoken to who, really didn't like the fair tax. And he said, I make my money off the income tax. He said, the more complex and convoluted that it is, the more money I make. And he said, I want him to make it even more complex.
Well, you know what? I would never get my taxes done or have him touch my books either.
Yeah.
Because this kind of person is only going to be for the government. They're going to not care for you at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it used to be years and years and years ago, it used to be you were able to just take the tax form and fill out your taxes. But I don't think there's anybody who doesn't at least use a tax program to do their taxes, and that costs money. So you have to spend money to give the government the amount of money that it wants. And to top it off with the income tax, you are taxed on every dollar you bring in, every dollar. With the fair tax, you're not taxed until you spend it. So you could have a lump of money that has never been taxed. You can put it in savings and grow it. and not be taxed. And actually, I've, and they tax if you have a savings account, they tax the amount of money that you make each year off of that account. So
all that goes away.
yeah, and if you have a 401k, if you take that money out, it's a hit, and especially if you're below retirement age, then you have a penalty on top of the hit. So it's the income tax is so insidious. It's so much. It is like a cancer. It is part of everything that we do, and we can kill that cancer. I mean, we've got the perfect drug to kill that cancer, and it's the fair tax. I'd like to challenge your viewers to call their senators and representatives and ask them about the fair tax and say, we like the fair tax. Why? Either do you like it or do you not? And if they don't, ask for a reason. And if they give a reason, I mean, they have their things that they throw at you, like you'll pay an extra 30% on everything you buy, and etc. If they give you a reason that they don't like the fair tax, let us know what that is and who it is that said it. Donna, would you be willing to take those answers and if you'll send them to us?
I would love to. It would be my pleasure.
Okay. Well,
I want to know who the stumbling blocks are. I want to know who the people are who don't want this to happen. Guys, we're going to have to go into a commercial break. We'll be right back in just a few minutes. We'll be right back.
Twin City Used Car Sales has been serving drivers in the Northeast Alabama area for years with a quality selection of late model used cars, SUVs, and pickup trucks. On top of our extensive selection and competitive prices, we offer professional auto financing services for used car buyers of all credit levels. Whether you've just begun your search or you're ready to secure your next vehicle, at Twin City Used Car Sales, you will drive away with the vehicle of your dreams. The sales and finance staff at Twin City Used Car Sales looks forward to serving you, and you can apply for financing online before your visit to our used dealership in Gadsden, Alabama. Check us out on the web at twincityusedcars.com or go by our location at 901 First Avenue, Gadsden, Alabama. We sincerely look forward to serving you. At Lamone's Mexican Restaurant, located in Henniger, Alabama, and voted Best Mexican Restaurant of DeKalb County, Alabama 2020, we're here to serve you with authentic Mexican cuisine. Order easily online by going to lamonsmex.com or call 256-657-3999 to place your order. We're open Sunday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. Whether you're celebrating a cozy date night for two or a celebration for a crowd, at Lamone's you'll love our atmosphere and friendly servers. Thank you for dining with Lamone's Mexican Restaurant. Jeff McCurdy of the McCurdy Law Firm has been a public service of this area for over 10 years. McCurdy, a member of the Henniger City Council, serves as prosecutor for the town of Sylvania and was named public defender for the city of Rainsville. The McCurdy Law Firm is located at 17326 Alabama Highway 75 in Henniger to better represent his Jackson and DeKalb County clients. If you need to be represented by a true public servant with proven success, call Jeff at 256-996-8701 or send a private email to mccurdylawfirm@gmail.com. No representation is made that the legal services performed is greater than the legal services performed by other lawyers. At Liberty Bank, we're all about community. Whether it's to help with a charity fundraiser or help families in need, toys at Christmas, or a local football team, we're here for you. You see, we realize the importance of family. Sometimes it's to build a new home or necessary home repairs. We're here for you. If you like the feel of a small town bank with all the conveniences of a big city bank, we're here to serve you. You will find us at any of our convenient locations in DeKalb, Marshall, Etowah, and Blount counties in North Alabama. You can call and speak with any of our friendly staff at 256-659-2175 or check us out on the web at libertybankal.com. And thank you for your support of our community. Member FDIC Equal Housing Lender.
Good afternoon, everybody. We're back. Thank you so much for watching Donna's Edge on IC Radio, your source for news and entertainment. You may find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, and Abundance Television, found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. Don't forget the podcast, thenewscasters.com. And I wanted to mention this, too. So we're in Gadsden a lot now. We've landed a lot of new accounts there. And so a very special thank you to the Chamber of Commerce, the Etowah County Chamber of Commerce. They air this show there in their lobby with this great, big, huge screen TV, and that's every single day. We appreciate them doing that. And actually, I asked, his name is Philip Paul, and he's with the Chamber, and I said, well, Philip, how do you watch us? And he said, they have the little Roku, and so they have it plugged into the television set, and he said, so we watch it through Roku. So, but you can find us on social media, all the sites, we're on that as well. And ran into Ann Eubank. And so we were at Eagle Forum meeting. And so Ann was actually introducing me as the one that I get kicked off of Facebook and YouTube for having her on the show. So
I think she does too.
I said, I wear it as a badge of honor.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. So, but anyway, Ann's a good friend of mine. And I'm going to tell you, she's the one who introduced me to you guys. And and I thought and this is something for everybody who says, I don't have time to listen to this. Okay. I didn't have time to listen to it. I didn't. And Ann kept saying, yeah, you got to come to this. Come on. So anyway, you know how she is. She won't shut up. So I thought, well, she's not till I do. So anyway, I went. And so I was like, well, I got to get home. I've got to get some shows edited and all this kind of stuff. And then you guys started talking, and it was like, I didn't want to leave. I wanted to know more about it. So you can't be too busy. You can't be busier than me. I mean, you just can't be. And so I sat and listened, and it just, the whole thing just makes absolute sense to me. I mean, I can't see why we wouldn't do it. And then when you're thinking about the dollar, I mean, the value of the dollar. And so Phil and I do this. We'll watch old movies and stuff like that. And we're watching Andy Griffith the other day, and Opie wanted a dime to buy an ice cream or something like that. So what I'll do, I like to Google this. I like to go on the internet and just type in today's value of, say, a dime back in 1962. It's mind-boggling.
Mm-hmm. It's about $2.60, isn't it?
It's more than that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible. And then I wanted to mention another thing, and this actually pertains also to the devalue of the dollar. You can go to these Google sites. If you'll do this, you'll want to listen. You'll want to hear more about fair tax.
Yeah. Well, if you look at they first started tracking the value of the dollar back around 1913, and it's obvious the reason why. That's the year that they foisted income tax off on us. But the dollar trickled along, and it was worth kind of $1, and then you got into the Great Society, not the Great Society, but the New Deal, and the dollar, the inflation started popping up, and it kept going up and up, and then you got the Great Society in the '67 or so, and it keeps going up, and now you take today's dollar and say, what was it worth in 1913, and it's like, $3,000 or $4,000.
Actually, the value at $1.
It would take $3,000 then to buy what you buy with $1 today.
Yeah, well, actually, $1 today is worth 3 cents of the $1 in 1913.
You're looking at it backwards. I'm looking at it forwards.
Yeah, it wasn't just the income tax although that was
Yeah,
It's in conjunction with the Federal Reserve, which was also established that year. So it's and another thing that happened in 1913. It was a really bad year for the United States. That was when the 17th Amendment was ratified, and that's the popular election of the senators. Because previous to that, senators were appointed by the state.
the way the founders set it up was that the representatives represented the people. They represented the masses, and the senators were supposed to represent the state. And then the president and the vice president, all those guys up there, they took care of the country. They were the executive for the country, and that all changed. It gave us two sets of representatives for each state, because if you have a popular vote, senators become just high-paid representatives is all they are.
And actually, because of their longer term, they have a 6-year term.
More effect on us.
They can do things, really bad things, to this country, and not be responsible for it when the time comes for election. Because if they're, in fact, a good example of that is Senator Langford, who helped create that
silly bill.
Yeah, the border bill, which is
languishing.
It's unbelievable to me that they would, they were saying it's only an average of 5,000 illegals could come in a day. But what they don't say, and what is in the bill, is that those illegals have to be from either Canada or Mexico. They don't count the other ones. And then once you get 5,000 people from Canada or Mexico, then they'll close the illegal, what are they called? The
ports of entry.
Well, no, then you have to come in through the port of entry. And so, I mean, it's a really, really bad bill. But what it does, I mean, I think they purposely made it really bad so that they could blame the Republicans for not passing a border bill.
Yeah.
And that's what they've been doing. But Senator Langford was the Republican who was supposed to be, who was the one who represented the Republicans in crafting that bill. Well, he's in his first year of his term. So he's got 5 years.
It's his second year.
Okay, well, he's got at least 4 years of his term left to
he's already been censured by his Oklahoma.
Oklahoma censured him, unfortunately, but he's got 4 more years that he can remake himself. And so it's unfortunate when the senators were representing the state could actually not impeach, but bring back the senator if he was doing things that were contrary to the benefit of the nation or to the state. It's not that.
Yeah, but you know what stinks is somebody comes in, they're poor as they can be, coming in as a senator, and they leave a billionaire. Something wrong with that picture.
Yeah,
and to contrast that, if you look at Donald Trump, he's $1 billion less rich than he was when he became a president. So that is a huge.
He take a salary. The salary he got, he donated it.
Right.
The one thing about the fair tax bill is it requires the 16th Amendment to be repealed within 7 years of the bill going active. And if it's not, well, then in 6 months after that 7 years is over, we revert back to a tax system. Mm-hmm. And at that point in time, we won't know what it is until they define it. And can you imagine being under the fair tax for 7 years and then saying, we can't get this ratified to repeal the 16th. So we're going to go back to the income tax. And here's how we're going to do it. Can you imagine?
No! There'd be a bunch of people like me out there. No way.
Yeah.
We need a group to go after the 17th Amendment and repeal it too and put us back with the senators representing the states rather. Yeah. That did more to get rid of states' rights than most anything that we've done.
There have been a lot of bad things about the internet, but one thing it has done is made us aware of all of the corruption that is there. I mean, before that, people trusted the government. If the government's told you to do something, you knew it was in your best interest. now I'm to the point where if the government tells me to do something, I know they're coming after me for something. So
I'll take a second look and I'll do research because I don't trust what they tell me.
mm-hmm.
And then a third look just to verify.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is one really good thing about now there have been some bad things. I mean, of course you've got TikTok and all those other things that have been abusing our children.
It's up to the parents to take care of that.
And it also has made people aware of the climate hoax. I don't meet a lot of people these days that actually believe the climate hoax. And if they do, there are people that still are wearing masks. So, you can usually see them coming. And, and well, anyway, that's another one of them.
No, I totally get what you're saying. I think you're making a whole lot of sense. First of all, you have to use a little bit of common sense about all this stuff. And this is what I do. I watch people. So somebody's just like hammering on about, where the earth is going to self-destruct in so many years and all this kind of stuff. I want to find out where they live. Because if you live out on the beach somewhere and you got your multi-billion-dollar mansion out on the beach, I'm kind of taking it as you don't really believe what you're saying.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly.
I would find somewhere else.
If you have a private plane and you fly all the time, you can.
You don't believe in this global warming.
Yeah,
stuff.
you don't really believe in global warming. Now, if you're riding a bicycle, there are people who truly
Ed
believe.
Bagley, the movie star Ed Bagley. That one thing you can say about him, I tip my hat to him. I mean, it's stupid, but he really believes this.
Yeah, and the thing with this hoax is that I've probably brought this up before, but in the 1970s, we were being told that there was a coming ice age. I mean, there was a real fear thing going on then too, that we were just years away from an ice age. And so they came up with these ideas of one of them was to spread ash on the glaciers and on the North and South Pole so that the Earth would absorb the heat from the sun rather than send back, which is what the ice reflects the heat. And imagine if they had done that. First of all, putting.
Where are you going to get all that ash to begin with?
Well,
that's a lot of ash.
Well,
none of it.
Yeah. So I mean, they come up with these really crazy ideas, and
the latest one is spraying stuff in the atmosphere to control the amount of sunlight that gets in.
There was actually something I read recently about the nanoparticles and the aluminum nanoparticles that they're actually putting into the atmosphere. It's getting into the earth, and it's actually making the soil less less fertile, but also it makes the plants less able to absorb the nutrients. And I mean, this is something that has happened. It is happening really quickly. It started out, I think there were no nanoparticles, at a certain time. I don't know when they started checking, but they're up to 30,000 particles per centimeter. I'm not sure. I think it's particles per meter, but that's.
Remember, these particles have size of molecules. So
yeah, but the thing about it is, these are things that they're doing to prevent global warming,
and it's killing.
I don't think that's what they're trying to do. I think what they're trying to do is ruin your farmland. That's what there is
that. We were watching. I didn't see this on mainstream television, or actually, I don't watch mainstream television, but I didn't see this very much out there. But the Spanish have totally blocked off the boundary between France and Spain with their tractors. The farmers have, and I mean, you talk about the truckers in Canada. These guys, I mean, they blocked off all of the boundary. These people they're real heroes.
Yes.
They really are. And
that's happening in the Netherlands. It's happening there. I think the Germans into it, and also the Finnish.
Yeah. So I mean, these are the people that are actually going to save the world from these hoaxes, and these hoaxes are very dangerous.
So what does this all have to do with fair tax? And what it has to do is, how do they pay for all these silly schemes? They take our tax money and pay for it.
Yeah.
And in the fair tax, the way it's going to help out is for the first time in our lives, once it becomes law, we're going to be able to know exactly how much money we give to the U.S. government in taxes, because it's going to be on every receipt that we get. And once people start realizing that they know how much that they're actually paying in taxes, they're going to start asking, well, why are you spending money on this, and why are you spending money on that? And it'll help another group to go after all the spending, because we're only talking about collecting taxes, and it starts off being revenue neutral. So it'll be up to the next group coming along, because I don't know, we're pretty old. I don't know if we can do this much longer. But at any rate, it's going to take the next group with stronger backs and everything and say, okay, we're taking in this amount of money, and why are you spending it all doing that stupid stuff? You ought to lower that so that we can keep more of our money, and maybe that fair tax rate could come down over time.
Mm-hmm.
But you'll never be able to know what you're actually paying in taxes unless you have the fair tax in place, because right now I defy even the smartest person in the United States to tell me how many dollars they actually pay in taxes.
Yeah, if you earn a living, you're paying taxes on every dollar you earn. And then when you go out and buy something, you're paying taxes on every dollar that someone else earned. Yeah. So
that's called double taxation in my mind. And then there are other taxes in there. The sales tax goes on top of that. So that's a third tax of that same money. So,
and actually, that's one reason why they're really abusing the young people and giving, these hoaxes and things, because they're actually to the point now where they may not ever be able to own a home. Yeah. Because they're not going to be able to.
That's my concern. That's a huge concern. Oh, and let me tell you this. So a friend of mine has a daughter and her husband who live in California. So they actually went on the game show The Price is Right. And he won a vehicle, but he didn't have the money to pay the taxes on the vehicle, so he had to forfeit the prize.
Right. You pay it right there on the spot too. You don't.
Yeah,
you don't walk.
The HGTV. Now, this I haven't actually seen this in several years, but at one point, every year they give away a home and a vehicle and other things. And actually, I think they give you money to pay your taxes. But up to the point, the last time I saw, no one who actually won those homes ever was able to live in it. They had to sell it in order to pay the taxes on the prize.
Or accept the money. Sometimes they'll give you, and it's a lot less. But anyway, they'll say they'll give you this particular amount of money.
Yeah.
And go, well, you're not winning anything if I'm having to give it all away to taxes.
No, but the government is.
So. Oh yeah, they're doing really well. This is how, and we're talking about all these stupid things that are being funded. This is how a congressman or a senator goes into office poor, and they come out rich. Because I think that's going to their brother-in-law. It's going to some fake name or whatever. About all this stupid.
Yeah, that's actually pretty obvious now with the.
It's pretty obvious.
This is coming out. However, that's not always the case, and the fact that they have first dibs on the IPOs, the stock offers, stock options. They can buy. They know what's going to be the next legislation, and they can buy the stock that will be supported by that legislation.
This is what I don't understand about Martha Stewart. Martha Stewart, and she's a huge lib. Martha Stewart had to go to prison for the same thing, right?
Right. She certainly did.
Because she probably didn't go to the same prison they put me in. But anyway, she had to go to prison for that.
Right.
Well, they had to make they had to make a point with her to that, they're fair, rich or poor. I mean, the rich and the poor, it's the same laws for everyone is treated equally. Well, it's obvious that that's not the truth. There are two systems of justice, and it's more and more obvious every day. And actually people are beginning to see it, which is amazing to me that people are actually waking up. Took long enough.
Hey, I understand you got a book winner for us.
Yes, I do. How'd you know I was thinking about that? I was thinking, I'm going to break into this. Betty Fike. And so she's the one who asked, well, she and several other people are asking questions about Social Security. They're all concerned about that as well. And so I'll have have that sent to you as well. But if you have any questions, and we're nearing the end, we've got about a little bit over 2 minutes left in this segment. So if you would like to win the book, and you guys, you got the book handy, so you can just kind of show it to people.
Oh yeah, we have it right here in our non.
You got to ask questions. Okay, so you got to ask questions. And that book is a must read. I mean, you got to have it. I know as fun as the internet is, and you can find stuff on the internet. I'd rather have a book and just turn the page and let's look at it.
The book is good, but if you do any kind of traveling to work or whatever, if you can go to Audible and get the book at Audible and listen to it, and it's fun. It's like Neil Bortz actually narrates it, and he's funny, and so that's another way to get it, and it's not that expensive, and I recommend Audible because every time we travel, or when we go to church on Sunday, it's about a half-hour drive for us.
Instead of listening to Bible stories, we listen to.
Well, you can listen to whatever you want to, but yeah, we keep something on there all the time.
Well, I think it's biblical because actually the book of Proverbs is on you about spending your money wisely.
Right.
And, it says it's okay to have some wealth. It really is okay.
Yeah.
And but God gives it to us, and we've got to be wise stewards of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Again,
guys, we're going to have to call it a day. Oh, let's do one more minute. How can folks find out more about you and about what you do? You guys are you open to going to events?
Yes, we're open to going to events, and I just talked with the Lieutenant Governor and also Stephanie Smith down at the API about coming and talking to them about it, and anybody that wants to learn about the fair tax, either the national or our state bill, the Alabama Economic Freedom Act, all you got to do is get in touch with us at going to alfairtax.org, and we're on there.
Yeah. And actually, if you read
let's let Alabama be the first one. So, Alabamians, we're tired of Texas saying they're better than we are. We're tired of Texas. Why can't Alabama be the first?
It's going to be a heavy lift because if you look at the things that they're doing in the legislature this year, they're occasionally you hear tax this, tax that, tax the other, and all they're doing is they're down there tinkering here, tinkering there, and they're trying to make and they're picking winners and losers, although they may not know that they are. Some of them do know they are, and it's time for us to do the heavy lift, like the Lieutenant Governor said needs to be done to get this bill into the House down there, and need to do the heavy lifting. And the way you do that is we got to get people calling their congresspersons for the national and the representatives and state senators for the state.
Let me throw in real quick. Our speaker here in Alabama, if you live in Alabama, the speaker is not a big fan of the fair tax. If you actually want to make a statement, let him know. You can call his office. You can call, and actually, if you notify your representatives too, but ask him why he doesn't like it, because we've spoken to him, and he actually promised us a committee that would study the fair tax, and that has not happened.
Well, the other side of the coin too is that they always ask you, well, where's your poll? I kind of work on polls, so. They got to know that there are enough people out here that want it. And that doesn't take very many people in each district. We did a national study, and it only took 3,500 people per district. And that's you got 7 districts in the state of Alabama times 3,500, and that would be enough to get the attention of all of the representatives in the state of Alabama. So you got to get to going. You got to get to talking to them. You got to get on the ball.
Absolutely. Guys, we're going to have to call it a day. Thank you so much for being on the show. It's always a lot of fun. Y'all hang in there. And thank you guys so much for watching. I know you could be doing anything else, but you're watching us, and we definitely appreciate it. See you next time. You have a good day.